Glacier National Park is addressing crowding and congestion.
So we have seen gridlock on the road rather frequently.
With another season of what's expected to be record-setting visitation in Glacier National Park.
So let's face it, nobody goes to Glacier National Park looking to see how many people they can see. Everybody goes to the park looking for, they want to see grizzly bears, they want to see the wildlife, the scenery. That's what everybody is looking for. But unfortunately, last year and this year, the crowds are unbelievable, and they're predicting them to be really high this year. So I'm going to give you 3 of my best tips on how to avoid the crowds and make your Glacier Park experience really, really good. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you one tip that all of us native Montanans and people that live close to the park, the one tip that we know, and if you can do it, it's probably the biggest game changer as far as going to the park. So the first thing is when you're going to Glacier National Park is you kind of have to lower your expectations. A lot of people think that they're going to go to the park and it's going to be just total wilderness and they're not going to see a bunch of people, they're not going to have to stand in line, and that's just really not true. There is going to be a ton of people. So when you're planning your trip, you need to make sure that you give yourself enough time to allow for the amount of people that are in the park. And if you're on a hiking trail or whatever, just kind of yield the way. Be quiet when people are around. Don't take a bunch of loud music. Just, be really courteous to your fellow hiker, because people will get annoyed and that can really ruin your trip real quick. The next tip is you have to pre-plan your trip and give yourself lots of options. Because, for example, say that you were going to go to Avalanche Lake and that was your plan to go for the whole day, and you get there and for some reason everybody in the park decided that day that they were going to go on the Trail of the Cedars and to Avalanche Lake. Well, what happens is there's no place to park. I mean, you won't be able to find a spot to park your car. So your whole day could be ruined because there are people everywhere. So my suggestion is to plan 2 or 3 things that day. And if you show up to Trail of the Cedars, don't worry about it. If it's full, you can't find a place to park, don't worry about it. Find something else. Maybe you want to go and hit the ferry on Lake McDonald. I would suggest that. It's really a lot of fun and it's beautiful. Or maybe you wanted to go to the Going to the Sun Highway. Put all those things kind of into one day and see which one has the least crowds and is the easiest. And then do that and then work your way towards the stuff that's a lot more busy. That's a really, really important tip. Another tip for when you're going to Glacier Park is don't just plan on going to Glacier Park. Montana is a beautiful state and there's a lot going on and there's a lot of really, really incredible places to go that are not far from the park. For example, there's Holland Lake or Lindbergh Lake, and that's down the Swan Valley. It's 30 or 40 minutes of a drive from the park, from the west side of the park, that is. And it's just as incredible as Glacier itself, and there's probably not gonna be quite as many people in those spots as there was, at the West Glacier entrance or at the Logan Center Visitor Center. You can just try to find some other stuff around Montana that, if it's just too darn busy, you can just go, heck, I'm just gonna drive another 30 minutes and I'm gonna see things that are just as beautiful, probably just as much chance of seeing wild animals and things like that, and it'll make your trip a lot better. And tip number 4, and this is really precious to us people in Montana. We live here and we like to go to the park, and the crowds are something that we try to avoid them as much as possible. So the trick is if you can change your schedule to after Labor Day. Glacier Park is open year round, but the end of September, the first or the middle of September or the first week of October, Usually the Going to the Sun Highway is still open, so you can still go across the pass. You don't need to get a park permit for the Going to the Sun Highway after Labor Day, so you don't even have to worry about that. And the park really clears out. There's not as many people. And so those last 3 weeks, or the last couple of weeks in Montana, I promise you the weather is beautiful. If we had forest fires in the summertime, those forest fires will probably, the smoke will have died down, there won't be any smoke. The trees start to change colors. That's when I go to the park. I plan my trip every year to go as late as possible without the Going to the Sun being closed, if I want to go to the Going to the Sun Highway. A lot of times I'll go to other places like Bowman Lake or Kintla Lake, and you can look those up, and I'll put a link down in the bottom to those things. And you know, if you want to check those out, those are awesome places, and they're usually less congested too. So if everything else didn't work out, you could always see if you go to the other end of the park and check out those lakes. I promise you, they're spectacular. You will not miss a thing. So I hope you got a lot out of this video, and I'm gonna tell you also, the best way to learn how to, you know, get your park passes and stuff like that is I made a video right here. Watch that video. That'll show you how to, you know, get your permits, get everything you need so you can go to Glacier National Park. And if you got a little information out of this and you liked it, hit the subscribe and the like button. It helps me out, it helps my channel out, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the park. Enjoy your time there. Take care.